Hey, this is George.
Hey, this is Frazier.
This is Real Talk with George and Frazier. What's going on, brother? How are you?
Not much. I think we in workout clothes there, huh?
Oh, man, sun's out, guns out, baby. You know what I'm saying? That's all
I
good.
know, right?
Definitely all
Got mine out there. Got mine outside. Yes, sir. Got mine out
Oh,
today.
man. So how you guys doing today with this whole, I think there's a Hurricane Elsa, is it?
That's what they say, but I don't know. They keep saying it coming. They keep saying we get rain. I'm like, I'll pull it your way this weekend.
Yeah.
I'll pull it back in Philly this weekend.
Oh, okay. What day?
Saturday. I'll be there Saturday. I will come in tomorrow, flying tomorrow, and be there Saturday. But I don't know. I'm starting to debate right now.
Yeah, I know. I have some students that are flying up from Philadelphia today, and they're delayed because of the storm that's coming. We're going to be getting some rain in and out, but I think the major part of that is going to hit us at the top of this weekend and maybe beginning of next week, just due to how it's going to travel up the East Coast. But
yeah, but I tell you, I get worried. Be honest with you, when they go through Bahamas first, they come straight to us. If we go underneath, I ain't got no worries.
Right.
Because for some reason, it's a pattern. If we go through the Bahamas, for some reason, hit the Bahamas first, it's gonna hit us. It goes straight for some reason. If we go underneath, like mess with keys a little bit, then you might make it through. I think one time we got like the tip and like the side of it. Man, it felt like a hurricane.
Right.
But it wasn't a hurricane. But man, it's still the winds ain't no joke. The outer band ain't no joke, man. I've been doing 2 hurricanes. I'm so used to it now. It doesn't bother you no more.
Nah, brother. Still can't get used to it, man. It starts raining heavy here, man. I'm nervous. So it's definitely all good.
Man.
Listen, we got a great show today.
Oh, yeah. As matter of fact, George, didn't I say the son could take game 1? Don't try to avoid the situation. Did I tell you son will take game 1? It was in mess around. And Giannis played. And Giannis got in the game.
Well, I didn't say that they couldn't take game 1. I said that it's a strong possibility because you have to understand that the Suns beat the Bucks both times they played them during the regular season. So I said if the Bucks don't have a standard position, and look, I'll be honest with you, if Phoenix wins games 2, it's going to be a very hard uphill battle for the Bucks. That means that they're going to have to win the next 4 games in order to be relevant. And I just don't see that, so it's definitely all good. But that being said, listen, the founder of Audea is with us. We're on this particular platform that we've launched, and he's here with us today on Real Talk to talk about Audea. Amit, welcome to the show, brother.
What's up? What's up?
What's going on, brother? Hey, what's going on?
You guys can hear me well?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, very cool. I'm about to put you on my Instagram story. Let me get it here.
Okay.
Hold on, get a better look.
Get a better look.
Get a pose in there. Get a pose.
Oh, you guys are funny. So that being said, we want to thank you to our podcast. We're on your platform as well, too, and we're very excited about some of the things that you guys are doing, for new content creators and innovators like us. But for the fans listening, tell them a little bit about yourself, tell them about your background, and tell them about Audea.
Yeah, well, thank you guys for having me on. Really, really appreciate it. Really what we're trying to do, man, is there's this new sort of thing that's happening in content creation, which is people are realizing, hey, we can use our words to get influential things passed in the world. And 10 years ago, it was more so through blogging. Maybe 5 years ago, it was more through video. I think video is still big right now. But the beautiful thing about audio is anyone can participate. You don't really have to have talent. And you have the ability to get discovered. And instead of reading about Trump suing Twitter and Facebook, people want to listen to people talk about Trump suing Twitter and Facebook. It's just a different world that we're in. So at that point, I think over the next 10 years, more and more people are going to start speaking, podcasting as a medium to ultimately get attention and be influential. I think that means there's a gap in the market space for a company or a platform that can emerge that actually innovates in getting them discovered. Because I just have a philosophical belief on life and creativity. And this is why I think we have a chance of being successful, because I think I'm more of a creative before I'm an entrepreneur, which is that if you can get creative people discovered for their creativity, they will reward you with not only their money, but their attention. And that's what matters more in today's day and age. People actually caring about your platform, your methods of distribution, because you're getting them discovered. In this world, the only thing we care about is outside of our family and our money and our loved ones, having other people give a crap about the stuff we care about. And that requires not just having good content, that requires distribution. And the platforms that can actually distribute people more effectively are going to win. So in short, Audea is a platform that is trying to help spoken word audio creators get discovered in a fundamentally more effective and efficient way than some of the big guys that are out there right now. And I think if we succeed at that, we can help, some people really make some good livelihoods.
Absolutely. So I started my podcast career on a platform called Blog Talk, and everybody thought it was a great idea. Podcasting and things of that nature, it's actually free, and their business model was you can start for free, but at some point in time when you get big, you got to pay them. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because I had a digital magazine, so I was bringing in my own advertisers, I had my own ad spots, and their business model was tricky at the fact that if they provided you ads, it was 70-30, and if you brought your own advertisers, you still had to pay them 70% and you keep 30. And I'm like, those roles didn't reverse at all. But long story short, they kept reducing the number of free hours that you had, to the point that it wasn't worth it because they were driving you to the paid model. And then they had a white paper model or white label, quote unquote, model where you had to pay them $60,000 to brand your podcast / radio show, whatever it was, for $60,000. What makes Audea a little bit different than some of those that we've seen in the past? Because right now Blog Talk is huge. Obviously there's a few that are out there that are huge, and there's a lot of podcasting companies out there that only the big people use, Shaft and everybody else, where you can't even get on, so to speak. Because you just don't have the audience.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of big podcasting companies right now that are going to the Shaqs and Charles Barkleys of the world and giving them these exclusive deals. And, this is the problem that we're seeing with Spotify giving $100 million to Joe Rogan, $60 million to Call Her Daddy. These are great deals. I'm happy for those creators getting that money. The problem is in the general marketplace of ideas, if a company paid someone $100 million, that means this home feed where people find and discover content, it's going to be populated by the creator that made $100 million because that company has to get that $100 million back.
Right.
So at that point, I think for small creators, it's just very difficult to ultimately get discovered when these companies are dishing out these types of exclusive deals, not just Spotify, but a bunch of other these podcasting companies. So how are we different? I think that if we build our platform based upon this idea that we're not biased towards a specific creator, we're not biased because we've given some type of premium deal, but literally, it's you upload content around certain keywords and our algorithms do the best to recommend your content in a meaningful way. If we can effectively scale that, we will get millions and millions of spoken word content creators posting their content on our platform because there is a chance to get discovered. That doesn't exist with the decentralized RSS feed model that is currently there in podcasting. The decentralized RSS model is I post it on Buzzsprout or Anchor or Libsyn or whatever, and then that hosting services throws it out to every DSP, Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, all that stuff. What we've noticed is that's not meaningful because those platforms that are getting your content aren't doing anything to drive traffic for you. They're not organically recommending it. They're sourcing it from a decentralized feed. So if we can be the platform from a supply and demand perspective that gets the supply from creators because they know there is demand on the other side willing to come consume that content, i.e. scroll through a feed like you would on Instagram or YouTube and discover videos or photos, and then we can get the demand side because they know that there's a supply there waiting for them to listen to meaningful content, then I think we can effectively scale that. From an advertising perspective, I think that means that we're going to win in audio advertising because there's two ways to make money off podcasts to me. It's ads or subscriptions. Subscriptions I'm not a fan of because how many people are legitimately going to pay $5, $6 a month to multiple podcasts? It's just not going to happen, right? You might have one or two podcasts you really, really care about. All right, I'll give you $5, $6 extra bucks, but I pay $16 for Netflix and I get 100 years of content. I'm gonna pay $10 for an extra episode a week. Like it's just logically doesn't make too much sense. So at that point, advertising is the best way to really get people ordinarily paid, especially when most people don't have a fan base that can monetize a subscription at a high level. So how do we do ads that are differently? I think if Audea essentially becomes a search engine for audio, we have millions of audio ideas in one place, the demand and supply I just talked about. That means advertisers can algorithmically target their ads in front of the most meaningful content. So if Microsoft wants to sell a laptop, Microsoft can type in the words Microsoft laptop technology on Audea. There's millions of audio ideas already oriented around that type of content because it's a search engine for content. We're not just sourcing it from RSS feeds. So now Microsoft can place their 10, 15 second audio ad selling their new Surface Pro that they would have shot at some radio station that they're not going to get any return off of because you don't know who the hell is listening to it off that radio station, and actually put it in front of content, audio content, that's meaningful and that's going to generate an ROI because there's a warm audience listening to that. At that point, the creator gets a percentage of the revenue. The number of that, I don't know off the top of my head. And then the company keeps a percentage of that revenue. And if you get that to scale, then I think we have people making tens of thousands of dollars per month off just pumping out good audio content like video creators are doing on YouTube right now. And that, I think, can actually solve the problem for small creators who are not making too much money.
Nice.
All right, back to small creators. When you say small creators that aren't making too much money. So, Frazier and I, we are in business. We talk about a lot of things. We talk about sports. We're a variety show. But we have a few key things that we work on that we're expert and we talk about. So let's say we have an advertiser coming for us. Would it be specifically for our show if the ad gets hit, or would it be for other shows and you just split the pie a little bit down the road because we're in the same keywords, we're in the same subject matter?
Yeah, I think it's kind of similar to YouTube, right? Like YouTube is like, look, YouTube gets the advertisers and they build a bidding system in which advertisers take their video ad and they select on certain keywords that they want their ad to show up with. So if I'm trying to sell, some type of, I don't know, let's say I'm trying to sell a camera. I'm going to type in keywords, photography, digital studios, that type of stuff. And YouTube's very complex advertising structure is just going to take that video ad and they're going to shoot it in front of all the content that is relevant to what your ad is about. I think we do the same thing for audio. And that means you need a lot of advertisers, you need a lot of content. But if you do that, at that point, your show wouldn't even have to worry about the type of ad. You would just have to worry about pumping out the content and the ads would be automatically placed.
Right. Now, as for startups, and yes, I keep referring to us because we're new on the platform and I just want to give our listeners some type of idea. How do you present us to advertisers per se, or in general, because advertisers look for numbers. So a lot of times the reason why a lot of people make a lot of money on YouTube is they have content that has 1 million views. Advertisers can now go, yeah, great. I got 1 million people seeing this in some form or fashion. But in the Frazier and ours case per se, we have at max 100 people right now. And, we're still marketing and we're still promoting. How do you make us more attractive advertisers? Is it because you have 100 shows that have 100 viewers?
I think it's if we're actually driving enough traffic, right? Like to me, it's like if the platform has 10,000 monthly visitors or 10,000 daily visitors, at that point, advertisers to me are not looking for a show that has a number of listeners. It just knows that, can you guarantee my ad will be placed 1,000 times within the course of a week in front of somebody's content, which is different than the model that currently exists. The model that currently exists is you have to develop a relationship with an advertiser, negotiate, show them your analytics. You only got 100 listens, you're going to get a lowball offer, and then kind of go that way. Again, I think if we centralize that system, podcasters will not have to worry at this point about negotiating a deal. They're just going to have to pump out content. You're going to be in a monetization program with Audea, the company, which means we are responsible for finding the ads and doing the hard work and then placing it in front of your content. You're just responsible for pumping out the content, which is easier for an advertiser because then they don't have to be stuck to one show. They can just be spread across multiple different Audeas, as we call them, that are on the platform.
Gotcha. So let me ask a question, because I know when you're uploading data on the platform, is it better to do the short versions of the data? Like say, because I don't start seeing some put 20 seconds, some put an hour, some put as much as 2 hours on it.
Yep.
What would be the best way to take advantage of the platform with actually uploading? Would it better the 30 seconds, the 2 hours, or the 1 hour? What would be better to get the best out of Audea?
Yeah, what we're telling people is put everything up there because my thing is Audea is a search engine for audio, right? So if I'm scrolling through it and there's a 1 hour long show that comes up and it's like interview with some entrepreneur and that entrepreneur is interesting to you, people might click it. They might listen for 20, 30 minutes of that hour and they might come back to it and listen to it later. The whole idea is, can you get in the feed? I mean, that's the most important thing. Can you show up when someone's scrolling on their feed? And you got big platforms today, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, where it's really hard to show up because it's just so competitive. If we had a platform that existed with that type of feed for audio, then I think that would be meaningful. The short clips obviously are easier to digest and more consumable. So if there's a 5-minute clip that pops up, you can click on it, listen to it, and immediately go about your day. And hopefully that generates enough interest in someone to then click on a 50-minute clip because they listened to a 5-minute clip. But yeah, we're not biased towards long or short. We're just saying anything that can pop up in someone's feed is meaningful for people to listen to.
Right. And how's it going? I know you guys just launched. Every time you have new businesses, you have new tech, you have issues that you have to work out as far as capacity. We're only expecting 100. We got 1,000. How do we deal with that? How does it suck our bandwidth? Then you have people that are coming in and scamming and doing a lot of different things to present themselves in ways that, are benefit for them, but it's not beneficial to the company. So what mechanisms are you guys putting in place to catch all those things on the bigger platforms, so it doesn't become a roadblock where people go, oh no, you got to stay away from that, it's this or it's that or it's blah blah blah?
Yeah, it's going pretty decently. We launched April 5th. We got to 1,000 users before we launched our mobile app. We launched our mobile app literally just yesterday. So it's live on the App Store now if anyone wants to check it out. And we got 100 users this week, so we're at 1,100 people as of today. So I think, within 3 months, we've been averaging about 320 people per month that have been joining the platform, which is pretty decent growth. And, the thing you're saying about scams is really true. It's like a lot of times when people are trying out a new company, new technology, they're skeptical for good reason, right? People are like, well, what is this platform going to do for me? What is the benefit for us? I think we got 1,100 people because we're genuine. We're really authentic. We're not charging people money. We're not making any money. We're spending all the money to actually start this up. We're just trying to tell people there is a world in which if you trust our platform in the early days, as we get bigger in scale, your content will be more discoverable. And the other platforms just don't have the incentive that we have to give you that type of discoverability. I think a lot of it is selling it for myself. I'm the founder. I'm the guy that's talking to people. I'm on Zoom calls all day. So really, it's my ability to effectively communicate and authentically communicate what we are trying to build here and what the vision is, what is the purpose for it. And I think people are buying into the story, and they should be buying in because I'm not BSing it. So, I think that's been meaningful enough, and that's allowed us to grow over the past 3 months. And now we're at 1,100. We're trying to get to 10,000 by the end of summer and just see how things keep going.
Absolutely. Now I have to ask a question, just the business mind of me. A couple of my businesses that I've had have failed due to lack of funding. My digital magazine publishing company, literally, I had to close the doors on one of our last lenders, kind of just pulled out due to lack of numbers, lack of sales, things like that. But that was after 8 years, so we kept it going. How are you guys financially to be able to do this? Because I know it's new. You have developmental costs, you have engineering things that you have to deal with. Do you have an angel investor? Is it pocket? Are you using crypto? How are you guys putting this thing in place? You know what I mean? To be able to say, okay, no, we're starting today, but we're going to be here 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, because we have something in place that will make sure that we're here, a foundation. We're not just solely dependent on advertisers.
Yeah, the thing is, we're a high growth startup, and what a high growth startup is like, you're not supposed to make money, at least within the first year. You're supposed to raise venture capital because the whole job is get users, right? And if you want to make money, you have to build out the business model and advertise, and no one wants any of that stuff. You just want more users. You want to give a good experience. You get 1 million people in one place, you can figure out how to make money later, but getting those 1 million people is obviously very difficult in the meantime. So 2 answers to your questions. Number one, starting a startup in 2021 is just, it's incredibly cheap, right? We pay like $120 a month for hosting. It's really, really cheap stuff. We paid about $800 to incorporate our entire company and all the legal stuff involved with Delaware. I think we spent maybe $1,000 in the past 8 months of really doing this, which is just not a lot to start a business. And The good thing is my 2 co-founders, who are technical and are damn good technical engineers, they're not getting paid a salary because they have a majority of equity in the company. So and this is the whole idea about starting a company. Like, if you got people who bought in, they don't need to get real dollars because they believe that what they're doing, their blood, sweat, and tears will be paid off with equity as the company gets more valuable in the future. And they're willing to put that time in, even if they don't have real dollars. So we don't have real costs right now. As we get bigger and bigger, we will have more costs, and those costs are going to be less for talent and engineering. It's going to be more so for server space. At that point, the dilemma should be good, because if we have a $10,000 server cost per month, that means we have 20, 30,000 users, which means it should be easier to raise an investment, to go to investors and say, hey, We literally don't have money to pay for our servers. You should probably invest in us because we're growing so fast. So, you know, there's a good chance we fail, but there's a good chance that we also figure it out and get an investment. And that seed investment, we're looking for a couple $1 million, will help us just keep growing in the future.
Right. Now, do you have a business management team for that seed investment? Because I know in real estate, it's a little bit different than technology. It's all the same thing that they say, but I know that a lot of the specs, what they want to see in a business model and business report is a little bit different if you're dealing with real estate than technology.
Yeah, for tech, I mean, what they care about is users and active usage retention. So if you have 10,000 users and 5 of them are DAUs, daily active users, it's going to be hard to convince an investor that, you know, you should put some money into this. Now, nonetheless, if you got 10,000 people already, investors are like, how'd you get 10,000 people, right? So the way tech startups work is like, they will give you $2 to $3 million if you can convince them on the idea, and a lot of startups have not even launched them. They got a couple $1 million this year just for the idea, which blows my mind because I'm like, well, we launched without money. We got 1,100 people. Maybe we can money. That's the thing that's going to kill me. If we don't raise money, and I'm seeing these other startups have these, you know, wacky ideas, raise $5 million, and they don't even have a product. They don't even have an MVP in place. That's the stuff that kind of pisses me off. But that's my thing. It's like we've launched. We have users, we have people using the product, we're growing at a steady rate. I think at that point, we just have to get in front of an investor, and then I just got to do the sell. And I love the sell. I love the chase of figuring out how to communicate and answer all the objections they may have. And then we should be able to raise money. The things they're going to care about are number of users, growth, and the bigger story. Because even if we don't have a lot of users, they want to know, could you be a Facebook one day? Could you reach a couple 100 million users, billion users one day? And if they believe in that potential, 2 million to an investor is not a lot of money to take that bet. But they just have to really think that there's a chance there.
Right. I definitely appreciate that, you know, especially on the business technical analysis of it, because a lot of times, you know, our listeners, they listen to, I mean, we have entrepreneurs that come on everything from record labels to real estate to, you know, somebody starting a cookie company. You know what I mean? We interviewed one of those particular people. But the gist is kind of like the same as to what you're doing and how you're doing it and what it is in the tech space. Because I know a lot of people that are interested and have great technical ideals, they get scared when it comes to the tech space because it's so new, it's so spooky. It's like, oh, you know, we have to go sell our souls to somebody in Silicon Valley. You know what I mean? And that's really, really, really hard to get past. But you're saying the cost of entry right now is less than $150 for what you guys have been doing. And that, you know, that's very encouraging, especially to us as creators on your platform, but also to those other people to know that, you know, right now with technology, right now with high speed, right now with a lot of different things, costs of entry are great for great ideals. You know, like, you guys didn't suck in $150,000 and don't have an explanation as to what happened to it. You know what I mean? And you're still running and you're still moving. So it's definitely all good. I want to move on to that with that platform because you keep saying you want to be the search engine for audio.
Yes, sir.
How do you, well, I guess it would just be listeners. How do you stop the trash from getting into blowing up the network, so to speak? You see what I mean? Because you're going to have people that are just going to upload 15 seconds, 20 seconds just to see something. And all of a sudden you got this huge storage capacity issue, but you stored nothing but garbage. You know what I mean?
Right.
How do you kind of prevent that kind of thing from happening and pulling on your bandwidth?
Yeah, I mean, the thing about a technology platform is, again, we're not supposed to be a publisher, right? So if someone uploads a 15-second piece of trash and they're, you know, just saying, hi, how are you, right, for 15 seconds, the nature, I mean, you could post that on Facebook. Facebook's not supposed to take it down because their goal is, hey, we're a platform. It's open for the world to use it. And anyone can post whatever they want, obviously within reason in terms of hate speech and stuff like that. So for us, I mean, it's a question of our algorithms being able to filter and find the best quality of that content. Like YouTube works because there is a video on YouTube that is meant to be watched by every single person in the world. So they have a market of 8 billion people that could potentially watch a video on their platform. And their algorithms are so good that if you give it a couple of minutes, it'll figure out what stuff you like and it'll show you that video that exists in their servers. Now, there's a lot of trash on YouTube. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's not valuable. YouTube's algorithm's job, the stuff that they pay their engineers hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars per year to figure out, is how to make sure the trash does not show up on someone's feed because then they're not going to come back. That's our job. right? And I don't think anyone has done this for audio. And that's sort of my big point here with Audea. It's like, I don't think Spotify and Apple are doing that. I don't think I don't think these companies are trying to build out an algorithm that is truly a foundational element of discoverability for spoken word content creators. Yes, you're going to get some trash that shows up, but a lot of times if you train that algorithm correctly, you're going to get the best in the home feed. And if we can do that, then, you know, we should be good from there.
How do you train an algorithm? You know, I'm just a layman, this, that, and the third. You know, everybody hears algorithms. You know, you hear the former president of the United States talking about algorithms. You hear everybody talking about social media. You hear YouTubers talking about how to trick an algorithm. Yeah. You know, so how...
The first thing we need to understand is that algorithm seems like a dirty word because of the connotations it's getting. Algorithm is your best friend, okay? And I want to break this down because people need to understand this. You and I are individual people. We are individual people in a country of 330 million people. In this country of the United States of America, there is a major wealth disparity. You have people, you got Bezos at 200 something billion, and then you got people who are 200,000 in debt for student loans. I mean, there is a major discrepancy in terms of people who have money and who don't have anything. You need things to level the playing field. I mean, you just need those things. And 50 years ago, the playing field was NBC, CBS, ABC, and media. Then you had Facebook, Google, YouTube, Twitter. They said, okay, we're going to level the playing field. Now anyone can put out content. Anyone can create. You have access to the world. That doesn't make sense if there is not an algorithm that is designed by these platforms, which, yes, sometimes may be biased, sometimes has issues, whatever, that can say, okay, this person likes entrepreneurship. This person who's making $50,000 a year in Kansas, who's not Jeff Bezos entrepreneur, but he has a small business. He has a nice little barbecue. He knows how to spit some game about how to be an entrepreneur. That person who's making $50,000 should be able to post content about the key words around entrepreneurship and get discovered so he can make an extra $50,000 in ad revenue off on the side from YouTube. If there is not an algorithm that is advanced enough to facilitate that level of distribution, that person in Kansas only keeps his barbecue and never gets any other distribution of any other method of distribution of income or of attention, which ends up turning into income. So algorithms are not bad. They just need to be trained to make sure there's more equity and equal discoverability for the best of the best creators. How do you train an algorithm? You need a lot of data. I mean, you need a lot of people posting a lot of stuff so the algorithm gets advanced at knowing, okay, these people like this, these people who search for these things like this, and then you just unleash that beast. But that beast is good, even if it's not always on your side, because if it's not on your side, then ABC, NBC, and CBS determine the media that we all consume.
Right.
I got a question for you though. I was back on algorithm. I was looking at TikTok has a system where they can actually differentiate how many views you get, how many viewers are not active with your account, and based on that, they actually flow traffic to your feeds. Same with YouTube. If your algorithm is low and not interactive with your posts and stuff, whatever, they kind of fade you to the end of the way at the bottom and boost everyone up to the top. And I've seen that too. Instagram now starting to do that a lot also. Like we get like, say, you post something and somebody 2 seconds later, I like it. 2 seconds, I like it. 2 seconds later, I like it. So I started learning that as well to do that. And I learned certain times a day. This time I don't think people understand too. Certain times a day, people actually watch the post, maybe see the whole entire post, may not. So on that, what do audio do to help the algorithm on their platform to get people to come? Is it the same concept? Whereas the more interactive you get with the audience, you get more boost to the main page, or is it free for all?
Let me let you in on a secret. We don't really have that much advanced placements in our algorithm because we're very young. We got 1,100 people on the platform. So what I'm telling people is post. You're going to show up in people's feeds. I mean, if you got 1,100 people, let's say 8 of them maybe are posting a day, there's not that much competition. On Instagram, you got 2.5 billion. So, of course, they got to, what time of the day? All this nonsense. We'll deal with that nonsense when we get big. Right now, and this is why it's just a prime opportunity, this is like TikTok 2 years ago, when there's barely any people. Even if there's 100,000 people, that's nothing in social media. Post, we're at 1,000. That's nothing. So post. So my advice to creators on Audea is the more you post, the more you're going to get discovered. It's just that simple. And the more we're going to be able to obviously get more people joining the platform as we're growing month over month to check out your content. And in the future, there's going to be more complex ways the algorithm operates. But for now, it's just such a prime opportunity to post because there's just not any competition.
Right.
Nice. I like it better.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I just want to ask you, as an entrepreneur, what tips do you have for new entrepreneurs coming into the tech space? I know you dropped a gem about cost of entry and how cheap it can be, and you're talking about algorithms, and you're talking about your development team and how sweat equity is very important. But what other tips can you give people looking just specifically in the tech space?
I think philosophically, we need to understand what the value of technology is. And the value of technology is that if you build a product technologically oriented, it's different from a restaurant. It's different from, opening up your own local shop and selling clothes. I mean, that technology product can help literally billions of people at the push of a button. So what you're building when you're building something in tech is something that has the potential, most of them fail, but it has the potential of being one of the most valuable things financially and opportunity-wise in the entire world. Until we get to an age where technology is even more advanced than it is right now, in this day and age, if you build software that people around the world can access, you win. Like, you win the game.
Exactly.
Now, the question becomes, who's going to build the software that not only helps people, but that they give a crap about? Because I think this is my biggest tip. If you're a founder and you're building a technology company, you've got to care about the problem. You've got to care so fundamentally. Like, I care about getting audio spoken word content creators discovered because I am a spoken word audio content creator. And that's why I think I'm going to beat a lot of, audio social platforms are hot right now. I was thinking of this 2 years ago, before Clubhouse and everything became hot. And then next thing I know, I wake up and it's 2020. I'm starting to get a grip on my idea. And then like Clubhouse valued at $3 billion. I'm like, okay. So, and then I see all these other apps and I'm like, damn, like now the one time I'm getting ready to start implementing my idea, the whole world wants to hop in on my thing. And that's, that's kind of how the universe works. It's going to get 1,000 times harder whenever you try to do something. So my point is, I should have quit because this is a really hard space. It's very difficult to compete, especially with Spotify and Apple and the innovations they're doing. But I actually give a damn about, I give a damn enough to wake up every morning and like just go at it every day in the face of every obstacle we get. And it's meaningful. It's purposeful. It drives me to actually care every day about doing something. If you're a founder and you're solving a technology problem and you don't care about building technology to solve that problem, you're just going to not care. And even if you become successful, it's not going to mean anything. And at that point, what really is success? So I think my biggest tip is you got to give a damn about the problem and then figure out how technology can democratize opportunity for people struggling with that problem.
Absolutely.
So, Steve Jobs said the same thing when the first time he lost Apple and they thought he should quit, give up. He went off and started Pexel.
Yep.
Came back, come with a Mac.
Yep.
And turned around and say the same company that fired him came back and say the same company. Not only did it say the same company, made it almost 4 times more the first week the Mac came out.
Yep.
The first week the Mac came out, they went 4 times the revenue. Then
the thing about that too, Frazier, I always say it all the time, not to cut you off. When you're the creator and you're the founder and you have the ideal, you have the beginning, the middle, and the end. A lot of people see the beginning and they jump on the beginning and they see the potential, but they don't understand the middle. How do you get through all those tricky things? Well, I've already worked that out in my mind. And they don't see the end to where you're going. They only see the beginning where you could, like you said, make changes that make a lot of money, and then it fails. Then you try to bring people in that say, well, how was Amit thinking, to get through these little rough patches? They don't understand that he's already figured that out in his mind. He's not here today. He's 5 years, 10 years down the future for everything that's already happened. And so what do they come back? They got everything, this, that, and the third. They don't want to lose their billions of dollars. They go like, oh, please come back and save our company. We'll give you anything. And within a few years, because it was my ideal, I turned the company around, and then bang, you have this huge monster. People go, it never would have worked without him. And I see that happen time and time again for people that build something, content creators, people that have great ideals. The biggest problem is the angel investors and the people that they bring in, they lose so much control that they get their companies taken away from them. And a lot of times their companies fail or they just get sold off so that people make their money back. And you're like, but you missed that exact point as to what I was trying to get to and build. That's why it didn't happen. And the last thing I want to say is, great ideals are not universal. everybody says great minds think alike. You know, you thought about this 2 years ago. I have ideas that I thought about 5 years ago that are coming out now, and I'm just like, oh man,
yeah,
you know, and it's just crazy.
Right. You're right. Because remember, I said the same thing too. Great minds and great creators, they will quit. He learned from his mistakes. When Steve Jobs made DreamWorks, he had no investors. He didn't do any investing. When he invented the Mac, he did it all by himself. He learned from Apple not to allow anybody to come and help you.
That's right.
And remember, the first thing he did when he went to Apple was he started disbanding the board. He started taking all the people out first, and you gotta go, you go. And he started getting people who were creative,
who believe in the business, right?
Who believed in what they were trying to do. Like right now, even though he's gone, but his ideas are still flowing through the people he put in place. Right. He even taught people how to rethink their mind, reinvent themselves. I think that's one thing we have learned to do too, as creators. Never learn to stop innovating, creating, and think of new things and think outside the box.
That's right.
No, man, you're so right, and I want to say one thing about that because that makes a lot of sense to me. So we're rolling out a feature on the platform in a couple weeks, right? This feature is specifically for creators. I mean, like the entire architecture of how we're building this feature is only for the creators that are on the platform. My developers and me got into a little fight over it a couple weeks ago because they were like, hey, I don't think this is like we got to do a lot of stuff on this. We got some other stuff. We got some bugs we got to worry about. Like, I don't think and I had to really convince them. I had to be like, look, guys, no. Like, the reason we got to 1,100 people is because the creator got them to trust in the creative vision. The feature I need you to build out, because I can't code, but I need you guys to code this, is something that I know people are going to love because I'm the one who's struggling with it. I've tested in the community. I'm not just saying off the top of my head. I've talked to people for the past 8 months. They want it this way. That feature didn't resonate with those developers, as you're talking, Frazier, with Steve Jobs and the board, because those developers, and I love my developers, but they think very analytically. They don't understand the emotional and psychological reaction a creative person will have when they use the feature that we're building in a certain way. And it took a couple of weeks, but then when they started seeing the feedback we were getting from creators, they were like, damn, we got to hurry up and build this because people are going to love it.
Exactly. You got to show it to them. It's a show me thing. Like, okay, I understand what you're saying, but theoretically speaking, scientifically speaking, it ain't gonna work.
Right.
You're like, well, how will it work? Have you tried it yet? It don't work. But okay, now you start putting numbers that sure work. Wow.
Right.
That actually can work. Now you got them all in. Now you can't stop them.
And that's the greatest feeling because they're thinking in numbers. They're like, all right, we just got to get more users, got to get more content. I'm like, guys, of course we got to get more users and get more content. It is the way, it is the experience of publishing an Audea on the platform. Like when you publish a photo on Instagram, when you post your story on Instagram and you swipe up on the story and you see how many people see it, there's a lot of people in Silicon Valley figuring out how to make you feel when you create that content. When you make a little TikTok, like little face feature that pops up and it's this little dance, like they're architecting emotion at the intersection of creative technology. And the people that do that, to me, are the people that actually know what it means to be creative. And if you can convince the tech people to just build that, then you've got a home run. But you've got to believe in that shit. If you don't believe that the creatives are going to feel a certain way when they're creating content on your platform, you're not going to build the platform for creatives. And then you're going to get, LinkedIn. Like,
like, oh, okay. I'm going to say people love Twitter. I hate Twitter. Because basically it's like people just typing ideas, you put it on there, and people respond to ideas. Some people like it. Some people don't like it. Some people don't want to hit a Twitter form. We know who that person was, who damn near killed it for everybody. But I mean, those sites like that.
No, he didn't, Frage. He didn't kill it for Twitter. When he was on Twitter, he brought in millions upon millions. Okay, Twitter was in the news every day talking about his tweets every day. Free advertising. Every media platform in the whole world. Okay, that's why he's shooting right? Down. Or we don't say his name on the show.
We don't
say his name on the show.
Here, it's better to be a you-know-what, hated, than to be loved. Think about it. He got 20 billion hits in less than 30 seconds being hated. Compared to, like, say, somebody else who, like Shaq, who been playing ball for a decade, he go Instagram page, he got maybe 1 million, maybe 1 million followers. And on TikTok, 500,000 followers.
You got to believe in the idea, man. You got to believe in the idea. That's what it comes down to. You believe in the idea, you'll figure out how to communicate it. It's that simple.
Right.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Well, that being said, I mean, look, we're definitely appreciate you coming on our show and talking about this. You know, we know that our fans and our listeners will definitely appreciate this as well. Let everybody know where they can find you and find Audea on social media and the internet. All
right, I need everyone listening to give me a goddamn follow on Instagram because I need some damn followers. Man, 990. Let me get to 1,000. It's been like 4 years. No, I'm just kidding. But it's Amit Kukreia, ITSAMITKUKREJA. If anyone wants to check out Audea, search AUDEA on the App Store. We just launched yesterday, and you can go to audea.io if you want to check out the web version of it. And yeah, hope to see people creating on the platform because we're going to do a good job of trying to get people discovered.
We definitely appreciate you, man, here at the show. And we're definitely glad to be part of the Audea family. Frazier, go ahead and give him the phrase.
Hey, welcome to the family, brother.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having me.
Definitely appreciate you.
Brother. And we help each other out.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, man.
Absolutely.
Much love, brother. Much love.
Right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, George, another great show, man.
Yeah, I see you switched up. Got the big mic. Yeah, I saw that, man. Look, I'm still using the basic, you know, TV boom. You know what I mean? I'm trying to be cute. Yeah, man, it's definitely all good.
I had to figure out how to do it in school in 20 seconds or less.
It's definitely all good.
I tell you, can you hear me? You say, oh, it worked? You can hear me? Okay. Let me now get the listen part up. Now get the mic up. Okay, now we got it down pat. Now we can work it out.
Definitely all good. Well, hey, everybody, listen, that's our show. Definitely got to hop off. I got to teach class in about 30 minutes. That being said, hey, this is George.
Hey, what's your name to show the gun show? Show the gun, George. Show the gun, George.
Oh, you want to see? You want to see? Okay. Let's go lean over there. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Sun's out, guns out. Y'all know what it is. That being said, man, hey, this was George.
Hey, this is Frazier.
And that was Real Talk with George and Frazier. Peace.
Peace.